So I updated this build. I realized Impale wasn't really helping me. I'd prefer to just go Tremor, which basically makes me even tankier. I also just like Tremor because it goes perfectly with like an Earthquake Seismic build. It makes you feel like you're an actual proper Earthquake spammer. An actual Earthbender. Impale's also inconsistent. Sometimes you can enjoy seeing it, sometimes you can't. It's just... And also, Earthquake, with 3 charges and a 4-second cooldown, I mean, Earthquake recharges so fast with multiple charges to use when you have it that... there's just so... when you it's hard to use both Earthquake and Impale, because Impale's the same way. Usually you want to have multiple charges too. And there's so many instances I realize when I'm not using Impale when it's ready, and same for Earthquake. So even though I got rid of it, if you noticed in my previous videos, my clear speed is literally identical. I fought the Arbiters too, like, the time it takes me to kill everything is literally the same. There's like no change at all, even though I don't Impale anything anymore. I don't use that skill at all, I only use Earthquake. And yeah, that's why. It's like, yeah, my skills are just more used efficiently. My guns that activate mods that get boosted by the bleed bonus and debuffs too, I activate more consistently, so it just balances itself out. And then I get to enjoy using Tremor and be even tankier. And get to use, I couldn't use Circle of Power with Impale because it requires too many mods also to use Impale. The final version of this build, I'll have probably just, there's not much honestly, even though I'm missing 2 mods you saw. There's not much to get. I would say, like on my pants, the only thing I can get on the waistcloth is Virulent Compound. That's the only mod that can even drop on like Leg of the Cannonball. I will specifically have to get Leg of the Cannonball with Virulent Compound to add any sort of mod to that and still have like Circle of Power, Status Power, and Max Health. I'll lose Skill Leech, it's true, since Cannonball doesn't have that, but it's a minor, and it'll be worth it, I think. It'll help my elite damage further when I have that. And then on the helmet, I just want to get Grand Blast for Tremor. I've already tested it. It's very minor again, but there's not much else to get. It's like, yeah, I'll expand the radius of Tremor a little bit through my helmets, and then get a little bit more elite damage through my waistcloth, is what I'll do for like the finishing touches on this build. But to be honest, those will just be minor improvements, so it's mostly done now. Anyway, I'm going to show my melee build, which I went back to Boulder Dash. We're not using Tremor anymore now that I'm using it on this build, and I realized Boulder Dash, as you'll see, is just better. Like, he kills things clearly faster compared to my last video with Boulder Dash than Tremor.
place reeks.
You've come to the wrong place!
Some clown just locked me in with a bunch of local wildlife. Lots of bodies in here, too.
You think those bodies are food for those creatures? The insurgents were keeping them alive?
Maybe.
insurgents had a fancy new toy they were testing on the creatures. I'm sure you know anything about it.
Good work, my
Outrider
friend.
detected.
Could you bring it all back?
Access.
Yeah, I realized the difference between using Tremor to gain armor in Human Fortress versus Boulder Dash and Primal Armor. Like, it's almost night and day. Like, I clearly was doing way better with Boulder Dash. Because, again, it doubles your armor. And it takes... And it doubles it after all the other buffs to it. So it's a gigantic buff. And it's perfect because it lasts 5 seconds. You combine it with Primal Rage, and you have an under 5 second cooldown on Boulder Dash, which is all you need to just maintain it forever. Most of my damage was always coming from Overwhelming Force and my melee, not my weapons on my guns. So yeah, I shoot my guns less, but who really cares? Because I just shoot it to stack up Fortress to try and get further armor is the main reason. And that's also why I slap. I just make it even more tanky. Like Fortress with Weapon Leech on the gun, just make myself even tankier that way. Again, this build will always be my worst against the Arbiters. Like, it's terrible, because it takes too long to kill them. It always deals with the Axe Phase, and the Axe Phase ignores Golem, it ignores Reflect Bullets, it ignores everything defense-related in the whole game to just do the same damage to every player. I can still get through it thanks to how much Weapon Leech I have stacked, so that really is what helps me survive the Arbiter. Weapon Leech and playing Ring Around the Rosie during that phase, but it always feels like a challenge, and it's always a long fight. Everything else in the game, as you saw, like, honestly, my clear speed for that expedition is not bad. It's, of course, my Seismic dude can, of course, do it faster, but not like miles faster, like maybe a couple minutes faster, but again, like, I don't feel like it takes me long to do most mobbing places of the game, which honestly is most of the content in the game. So I still really love this build. It's, again, mostly for looks. It's also mostly done. The only thing I can think of on my boots is maybe getting increased duration instead of extra time to further help reflect bullets. The problem is, I don't think you can actually get that mod on your boots. Again, when it comes to loot quality and RNG in this game, not all gear pieces can even drop with certain mods. They all are like it's RNG from like an RNG pool. Like, certain mods literally cannot even happen on the boots, for instance.
Naturally, it's landed on the insurgents. Remember that freak I fought last time? The one who nearly buried me alive?
Am I gonna have to dig you out of the rubble again?
Not this time. Who's done his last? Pod's ours.
Great! Then, out of curiosity...
So finally I've changed this build up to just a little bit. I finally got some martial gloves that allowed me to get rid of double jump, which is something I've been wanting to get rid of for a while. Yeah, I realized like double jump, there's no point having double jump when I already have a 1 second cooldown on grav leap, and even less when I have no cooldown when I use my pistol. So I made that change, which effectively means I'm forced to get mosh pip, so get vulnerable infliction from endless mass. And for that reason, I realized the last touches probably on this build is I want to get like my waistcloth with status power instead on it, just to get a little bit more status power for that vulnerability debuff mostly, because there's really nothing else that would help me anyway. For the most part though, this build actually is done, I feel like. I mean, I would like to get rid of Bone Crusher for maybe Thunder's Legacy to help my single target damage a bit more, but I don't think it's even possible to get a waistcloth with that stuff. I'm pretty sure all I can get as an improvement now is just another status power buff on my waistcloth, and that's it. Well, and also get Ultimate Storm Whip on my primary gun, and a skill leech buff instead of close range damage. But yeah, replace Claymore Torrent with Ultimate Storm Whip to help his single target damage a bit more, which of course is his usual weakness. But yeah, it is like infinite. And by the way, again, just to remind you, if you wonder, how do I have like infinite? How does Violent Rupture activate like infinitely? It's not a cheat. Just say no. Just like my cooldown build is not a cheat. It's a bug though. Now the cooldown stuff is totally legit. That's just how the math, I think, because it always stacks exponentially in this game as you keep adding more cooldown reduction, and it lets you get that through the skill trees. Pretty much, it's mostly just the skill trees that end up doing that. But there's some bug which you might as well call it permanent anyway in the game. So maybe it's an exploit. I don't really care. It doesn't really make much of a difference either way on my clear time if I were to use a different gun. So I just use it because I enjoy it, because it's infinite lava rounds, so it's just fun to use. But the Violent Rupture weapon mod, its cooldown is based off the Devastator's kinetic skill cooldown when you're on a Devastator. So if you're on a Devastator, the lower your cooldown on kinetic skills like Gravity Leap is, the lower Violent Rupture's cooldown is. So that's how I'm able to spam that thing.